You know, in the world of blockchain, the word innovation gets thrown around. A lot. But every once in a while, you come across something that feels like a genuine, honest-to-goodness breakthrough. Today, we're talking about Qubitcoin's Superdense consensus. And trust me, this isn't just another upgrade. We're talking about a whole new frontier, one that could let blockchain solve problems that right now feel like science fiction. So let's dive in.
So, when I say quantum and crypto in the same sentence, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably one specific thing, right? Well, what if I told you that the most common use of quantum in this space is actually the least interesting part of the story? The real game changer is happening somewhere else entirely, a place almost nobody's even looking.
Okay, so this slide really breaks it down for us. On the left, you have quantum resistance. Think of this as defense. It's a problem we've basically already solved. It's about grabbing existing tools off the shelf to protect against future threats. But on the right, you have superdense consensus. This is pure offense. It's a totally unsolved frontier that's not about defending against quantum computers, but actually engineering a whole new way to compute using quantum principles. Two completely different worlds.
All right, so let's just clear the air on something first. You see a ton of projects out there bragging about being quantum resistant. And yeah, it sounds super impressive, but honestly, it's quickly just becoming the basic price of entry for any project that wants to be taken seriously.
And most of the time, becoming quantum resistant just means plugging in a solution that already exists. Teams can use things like lattice-based signatures, which is just really complex math to keep data safe, or they can just follow the new standards laid out by NIST, the big US Government Standards Institute. These are essentially off-the-shelf parts.
And this right here, this is the whole point. For a really skilled team, implementing quantum resistance is a defensive move, and it's pretty straightforward. But what Qubitcoin is trying to do with superdense consensus, it's not even on the same planet in terms of difficulty. It's an offensive play, trying to actually harness the power of quantum mechanics itself.
Okay, so now we get to the real heart of the problem. And it's not just about getting the quantum physics right. The truly mind-bending challenge here is making it all work together on a massive, decentralized network.
I mean, think about it like this. Writing an algorithm to simulate a quantum circuit, running it on a single, powerful computer in a lab, well, it's not easy, but it's a known quantity. It's an interesting academic problem, but it's not going to change the world on its own. But what if you have to get 10,000 different computers with different parts all over the world to run that same quantum simulation and get the exact same answer down to the last decimal point so they can all agree on the state of the network? That has never, ever been done before. That's the part that's truly groundbreaking.
And for that to happen, the system has to be, well, basically perfect. The results from the quantum simulation have to be perfectly repeatable every single time. It can't matter if you're running an NVIDIA GPU or an AMD one. They have to behave identically. Even the way the machines handle decimal points has to be perfectly consistent across the entire network. If even one of these things is slightly off, the whole thing falls apart. Consensus breaks.
So here's the absolute core of the problem, right? Quantum stuff, by its very nature, is all about probabilities and chance. It's fuzzy. But a blockchain has to be the exact opposite. It has to be deterministic, rock solid, predictable, and verifiable. Forcing these two opposites to work together in harmony, that's the magic trick. If they can crack that, it would unlock the ability to do incredibly complex things on-chain, like modeling new drugs or running sophisticated financial simulations, things that are just impossible today.
So that begs the question, who on earth could even try to build something like this? The simple answer is almost no one. This isn't just another crypto app. It requires a blend of expertise that is just ridiculously rare.
I mean, look at this list. You need someone who's a deep expert in quantum simulation. Okay, but that same person also needs to be a world-class, down-in-the-weeds GPU programmer. And they also have to be a leading researcher in how distributed consensus works, and a top-notch cryptographer. Finding a person with even one of these skills at an elite level is hard. Finding a whole team that has all four? That's almost unheard of.
And that's exactly why this quote from someone in the community just nails it. This isn't just blind hype. It's someone looking at this monumental, almost impossible task and realizing, wow, this team's unique background might actually give them a real shot.
And look, if the team's insane combination of skills isn't enough to convince you, just take a look at who they've got on their advisory board. We're not talking about your typical crypto project advisors here. These are absolute heavyweights who are very careful about what they attach their names to.
So on one side, you've got Yaodong Cao. He's the head of quantum at Boston Consulting Group, one of the biggest consulting firms on the planet. His involvement basically says, yes, the quantum architecture here is sound, and there's a real enterprise strategy. Then you have Michael Levitt, a Nobel Prize laureate in chemistry. His job is to make sure the problems this network is designed to solve are actually scientifically important, not just some made-up computer puzzle.
So, having these two names attached to the project, it's not just for show. It's a massive signal. It tells you the architecture is legit, the team is credible, the ambition is very, very real. And most importantly, people at this level only get involved when they see the potential for a massive, substantial breakthrough.
All right, so let's zoom out. What does this all add up to in the grand scheme of things? We're not just looking at the next hot crypto token. We are talking about the potential creation of an entirely new benchmark for what's possible in technology.
You know, there's this line that gets thrown around in the community, and it's pretty provocative. You don't own enough Qubitcoin, and most likely never will. Now, hearing that, your first reaction might be that it sounds arrogant, right? Like it's all about money. But that's missing the real point.
The real meaning of that quote is all about the concept. The idea is that the value of the idea itself, the value of a working superdense consensus, is so enormous, so world-changing, that it makes the project's current size seem tiny in comparison. It's about the sheer scale of the technological leap they're trying to make.
I mean, just stop and think for a second about what happens if they actually pull this off. It would prove that a whole new kind of blockchain can exist, one that can tackle computational problems that are way, way beyond what we can do today. It would drag the whole industry forward. It would set a new bar for what's possible. And it would create a category where, for a while at least, they'd be pretty much the only ones in it.
So really, this was never about being the next Bitcoin or anything like that. The ambition here is to be the first of something totally new. The first to prove that blending quantum mechanics and blockchain consensus isn't just some crazy idea in a research paper, but a real, functioning technology.
And all of this leaves us with one big, mind-bending question to chew on. We've all seen projects solve really hard problems. But what happens when a team solves a problem that most of the world's top experts haven't even figured out how to properly define yet? If they manage to do that, the answer could change everything.